Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? It's been a little while since I streamed anything. I just kind of wish it was under better circumstances, I guess. I mean, there are some good circumstances out of this, but we'll get to that later. Needless to say, well, quite a lot has happened in the last couple of days. But first and foremost, I do want to at least, tell everyone that, yes, I'm alive, I'm here, everything's fine right now, but, some things did happen over the last couple of days, and I'm just here to kind of sit here and, talk to you guys a little bit about it. Before I get started, though, do you guys, excuse me, I've been kind of also recovering from a lot of, yuckiness in my throat, so I do apologize for any, coughing or clearing of my throat and everything. Would you guys prefer that I keep it here on the Spirit City Lo-Fi, or would you prefer this nice little setup that I set up here, so I can at least, you guys can actually see me talking, at least down in the corner there, as well as see you guys. I'll let you all decide on that here in a moment while I, psych myself up to explain what happened. I mean, either way, I will definitely keep the Spirit City Lo-Fi music going in the background, just to keep things calm. Quality needs bumped up on that video. Funnily enough, it's actually not a video in the background, it's a GIF. It's actually a GIF, so... Yeah, I know, it almost looks like it's a video, a very low quality video, but no, it's actually a GIF. Although, yeah, it does have that bit of GIF quality to it. And we're not talking about the peanut butter either. Just gonna readjust the chat there a little bit. There we go. Now it fills up one nice side right there. Makes it look a bit more professional. Okay. 144p looking. Ah! Alright. Alright. Enough dilly-dally shilly-shally. Let me just get a little sip of water here. Water bottle. So, where to start? Where to start? I admit this is going to be a little bit difficult for me to talk about because, admittedly, I feel highly embarrassed for some of the things that happened. But I will give it my best. And I hope you all understand that I am just kind of speaking ad lib for the most part. Don't be embarrassed, these things honestly happen. Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm going to preface this with a little excerpt from a Calvin Hobbes comic that I actually once read. So, the context of said comic... Let me see. Sorry about that. The context of said comic basically was that Calvin and his family basically went out of town to see a wedding and all that, and they had to stay, out of town overnight and everything, and all that such. When they got back, they found out that their place got robbed. And, everybody was like in a bit of a panic in their own ways and everything like that. And there was one part of it which, Calvin's mom just got done, phoning the police and everything about that, and they're on their way, and, they're kind of like, mumbling about everything that just happened and everything. It was the last panel in that comic that actually struck That actually kind of struck me. Also, thank you, Gina. I'll take another sip real quick here. Good thing I filled my water bottle before the stream started. But it was the last panel in that comic strip that always kind of stuck out to me a little bit. Calvin's mother basically said, this is the sort of thing that you always see that happening to someone else. To which Calvin's father replied, unfortunately, we're all someone else to someone else. That saying kind of stuck with me a lot through all the years I have grown up and everything like that. Yeah, you remember that one? It was quite the arc considering how Calvin was so worried about Hobbs. Yeah, I know. It's really heartwarming in the end and everything like that, even if something tragic did kind of happen. But basically, the reason why I recite this little strip here and everything like that is because, well, the unimaginable kind of happened to me as well. No, I did not get robbed or anything. Well, not in the literal sense, I guess. But even though I always basically, gave out like PSAs and everything like that to, don't click on suspicious links. If what somebody is giving you is too good to be true, it probably is. And, all that good stuff. Be wary of, like, phishing attacks and all that such. Yeah. Ironically enough, guess who fell for one? This guy. This guy did. It all began back on... Yeah, they caught me fresh out of a long day at work. I wasn't in my right mind at the time. Exactly. Like, this actually all started back on Monday, June 2nd. And I had just gotten home from work. Somebody apparently had messaged me. I won't say exactly who because, granted, whoever was behind it was not the person originally in charge of the Discord account that actually, started all this. So, again, I won't say who. I won't say who out of respect. Yeah, names won't be named, there won't be a witch hunt, exactly. Because, remember, it wasn't the person in charge of the Discord account. Regardless, it was the one who hijacked it. So, anyway, the one with the hijacked account basically, started talking to me. Originally, this was a person that had not, messaged me in well over 4 years at that point. But I do recall it was somebody from, the very early days of the Tinted Chaos server that, messaged me like, hey, are you going to be playing on your server on SRB2K and all that such? Because I saw some of the older messages that he typed out. So, I at least semi-knew the person. Acquaintance, if you would. But, basically, I should have seen, the first red flag there in the fact that they had not messaged me in over 4 years at that point. And I was just kind of like, this seems a little weird, but at the same time, okay, I'll hear it out. It then went into, a whirlwind of different little messages saying that, they had, end quote, falsely accused me of something like that and basically reported my Discord account and it was going to be banned in the next 24 hours. Now, if I was in any better state of mind or anything like that, I would not have believed that for 1 second and just be like, yeah, no, get the fuck out of my life. Goodbye. But, of course, I wasn't in the best of mindsets. As Ian mentioned, they caught me fresh out of a long day at work. I was definitely not in my right of mind. So, even though I was still very suspicious about it, I went along with it, I questioning them every now and then they eventually said, you know, just contact this person. He is part of Discord support, and you know he'll help you alleviate the ticket and everything and all that such. For context, I was so drained after work that even Ian got radio silence from me. Yeah, always be aware, folks, even when tired. Exactly. Now, what followed, I admittedly am still heavily embarrassed to even think about. Hell, by this point, it's almost completely blipped out of my mind, but I'll give you the general whole gist of it as best as I possibly can. Basically, when I contacted this quote-unquote Discord support, you know, eventually it got all to the point where they're just like, okay, well, you know, you'll need to do this, you'll need to do that, and everything like that, and, you know, eventually I then got locked out of my original Discord account. And yeah, needless to say, one thing led to another, and by the time that I had realized what was going on, it was already too late. I was basically being part of a phishing scam, and more or less they said, okay, you want your account back, you're going to have to buy this Razor Gold card for us, and they wanted like $100 on it or something like that, and that was just ridiculous because I didn't have that kind of money because I had just finished paying rent, which, thank God, that had actually gone through before this entire shit happened. And, you know, eventually I got so frustrated, I cursed them out, and I left. But, unfortunately, by that point, the damage had already been done. My account had been pretty much manhandled in ways that I would rather not get into. Yeah, thank God the rent was processed. Exactly, Moe. Thank you. But my original account had gotten manhandled, and honestly, I think the best word for it would be violated. And yeah, that also unfortunately not only got me booted out of a whole bunch of servers that I had been on, but unfortunately the original Tinge of Chaos server, which is the server I maintained, yeah, it got iced completely as well. It was, as I said, nuked from orbit. Needless to say, I don't know how I felt that day. Like, I was a mixture of so many emotions. I was devastated. I was exhausted. Yeah, at least for the most part, everybody survived the explosion. I was exhausted. I was devastated. I was frustrated. I don't know how I actually felt that day. I felt blank, I guess. Like, I eventually did, like, make a new Discord account. Basically, like, I did make a new account and everything like that, and, you know, I eventually got reunited with, you know, Ian and a group of other friends, including all of the original TOC mods. And basically, well, it was pretty much just damage control at that point. I had to, like, get it out saying that, you know, my original Discord was compromised and everything like that. I fell for one of the oldest and stupidest tricks in the book, and more or less wiped the slate clean. Yeah, the mods caught wind early and got a group set up for damage control, made it much easier to mitigate the damage. That you did, and I honestly thank you guys for doing that, like, being just on the point like that. I won't lie. If there is any other regret that I have aside from losing the Tinge of Chaos server, it's that I wish I could literally just go back to myself back on June 2nd, literally slap or stop myself from literally doing that and just be like, you're better than this, you know better than that, you know, save your stuff, okay? I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of battling a little about that. So, good thing some of us were chatting about Brain Rot Fish Girl Turbo at the time, otherwise we'd have been none the wiser. Well, in all... what else can I say about this? It was a pretty rough time for both myself and, you know, everyone else involved. Thing is, Twy, even when I tried to get you to talk to me during, you were in such a drained state from work that you weren't listening. They took advantage of you during a moment where your disability was in full effect. I'm not at fault here. I honestly understand that, hon. I really and honestly do, and I very much appreciate you for saying that. I mean, very, very far back in the back of my head, I really wish I could have just, you know, caught it earlier and just stopped it before it happened. But equally, I do completely understand that somebody literally took advantage of me when I was at my weakest. And, well, I paid the consequences for it. Yeah, those thoughts will drive me mad, and believe me, a lot of those thoughts have pretty much been alleviated at this point. I am far better off now than I was a couple of days ago. I am definitely far better off than a couple days ago. I'm mostly just talking about it right now in terms of, like, you know, just in the now in general and just, you know, my personal thoughts on the matter, okay? What I am... When it comes to wanting me to, like, you know, go back and bonk myself in the head and say, like, stop that and everything like that, you know, I'm not blaming myself. I'm just more so just speaking in general terms. At fault you are not. Even the most vigilant and steadfast among us will slip up sometimes. Exactly, Star. We cannot change the past, but we can affirm the future. Exactly. And don't worry, we are affirming the future. Like, we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll get to that in a little bit. I need another sip of water. My mouth's dry. Not gonna lie, all the phishing scams out there have driven me to develop plenty of trust issues and just be so cautious of anything posted in DMs. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Nathan. I don't blame you at all. Stretchy stretch. Ugh. So, yeah, that more or less covers what happened to me and, you know, what happened to my old account. Yeah, the silver lining about this, now you know firsthand the damage this can cause and can better advocate for better care. Yeah, not just for myself, but for everybody else out there. I mean, I have always been an advocate for, you know, proper internet safety and everything like that, but even people who are extremely diligent and hyper-vigilant of it, even they can slip up sometimes, as, you know, clear example, what happened with me. I was at a weak point, and my mind was not working as it should. But let this be both a lesson to myself as well as everybody out there. If it looks too good to be true, then it's best not to be believed. Don't click on suspicious links. Have people confirm to you who they are if they truly are somebody that you know, if they're acting that way, and above all, if they just suddenly give you a free, like, $50 Steam gift card, don't do it. Not unless, you know, you absolutely know that the person is actually going to do that for you. I shall never financially recover from my most recent purchase, but the little dog, the little dog to me, it was good. Yeah, exactly. If in doubt, don't touch it. Don't touch it! It's a history eraser button, you fool! Come to think of it, it actually pretty much was at in that context. Yeah, there still is a little bit of like lingering like remorse that, you know, I lost the old server and everything on it. Like that was literally like 4 years of my life that has just been lost. 4 years of like everybody's life that was on there. Do what kids do. Ask questions. A lot of questions. Overly ask questions. Exactly. But aside from that, you know, minor lingering regret, you know, there is some positivity to all this. For one thing, not only has it even more strengthened the bonds that, you know, I've had with everybody that I have gotten to know over that time, including you, Senua. Hi, I see you there. Another good point is that, thankfully, none of my other stuff seems to have been compromised. My bank is safe, thank God. And equally, I have literally painstakingly gone and changed every single password of every single most common place that I go to on the internet over the last couple of days. So, all those should be relatively safe as well. I am keeping a very hyper-vigilant eye on my bank, though, just in case, because, yeah, you never know. You never know. But so far, everything seems to be fine. And hey, you know, if anything happens, I can always just, you know, call the bank and tell them, like, hey, freeze my account. Boop. So, that is definitely still a net positivity. Like, my privacy may have been violated, but aside from my Discord, nothing else seems to be affected at the moment. And I'm very happy for that, because, especially considering, you know, future plans that are going to be coming up. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Ian. So, let's see. Yes, I have indeed gotten the old account back too. I did actually make contact with the actual Discord support, and within like overnight, they actually did manage to get my old account back. Yes, I did actually get the old one back. Now, it is there, it's safe, it's secure, it even still has its two-factor authentication and everything like that. Yeah, it does kind of suck they're not able to restore servers. Like, I literally even asked them if there is that, if anything, they could actually restore my server, and they said that, unfortunately, when servers are actually deleted, they're gone for good. So, yeah. So, yeah, that was unfortunately a no-go. Am I still going to use it? I am actually debating on that, to be quite frank, because I could use it, but the problem is it's been so, dare I say, it's been so neutered that it's honestly almost not worth using anymore, except maybe just as a bit of an archive of the few things that are left there. Not to mention the fact that, as Ian pointed out to me in a little conversation, almost looking at it almost gives me a traumatic response. Like, yeah, that and everyone did kill me from the servers. Exactly. You bounce back. Yeah. If anything, you know, as a lot of people who do know me at least know, I bounce back pretty quickly when it comes to things. Whether it be, like, you know, emotional trauma, physical trauma, or, you know, just whatever happens. Nah, I just flub her AK Sinuous dump truck. Boing, boing, boing. But yeah, you know. No, thank you for the stretch, Gino. I'll do that. I'll just stretch out here really quick here. Stretchy is important. Ugh, okay, good stretch. And another hydrate. Thank you, Titan Crimson, for that. But yeah, I did get the old account back. It's not the one I'm going to be using predominantly from here on. It is mostly just there as a bit of an archive for whatever's left. And it does help that most of us have somewhat archived a lot of the things from the old house. That is true, and I'm actually, if anything, if there's one thing that I'm glad that I personally archived from there a long time ago, it was the vast majority of the artwork that Nocturnal Knight actually did a long time ago, because, man, I miss that guy. Like, I hope he's doing all right. But I'm at least glad I managed to get all that off there. Not to mention the fact that, you know, a lot of the stuff that I had from the old server, I still have in my files here. Maybe not everything, but, you know, I have what matters. So, yeah, again, I probably won't be back on my original Discord account anytime soon. It's mostly just there to be an archive. But I do reassure you, it is 100% safe now, so if you did have me blocked there, then you can probably unblock me now. It is 100% safe. I will not be using it. And I've already pretty much contacted everybody that I wanted to with my new one, and no, I'm not going to say what it is out loud here for the sake of personal safety. So, I suppose if anything, before I move on, you more or less have most of the soundboard. Good man, Bowie. My man. So, before we move on, I guess I'll ask the chat over there, does anybody else have any, like, you know, personal questions or queries or anything like that about what happened? You know, as long as it's not too personal. I will take a moment to breathe here while you guys inquire about anything, if you have anything, if you have any, of course. And of course, I will try to answer to the best of my ability. My back itches, can I scratch it? Well, of course, it's your back, hon. Of course you can. You silly goober. Considering how long I've been recording this, I'll give about like another 3-ish minutes from now if anybody has any questions or anything. People that hack profiles and servers should not be on the internet. Amen to that, but unfortunately there's no real way to, you know, control that in any sort of capacity. I mean, people will unfortunately always find loopholes or workarounds. Or they'll just do it, you know, undercover and, you know, pray they don't get caught. I suppose really quick, while, you know, if anybody else has anything to ask, I will just personally say that people who do this sort of thing, They really need to get, like, their brain checked or something like that. I don't know. I'm not trying to, like, sound spiteful or anything, but at the same time, just... Ugh. Let's see. I guess ideally that moving forwards is going to be a plan to get things back on track, but aside from just trying to revitalize the server, what else do you plan to do to reestablish the community? Huh. You know, to be honest, I didn't quite think that far ahead, but for the most part, we're just going to, you know, move ahead and just, we're mostly just going to move ahead and basically try to, you know, keep going with what we were doing before. And, yeah. Part of me wishes we had South Korea's system of viewing hacking as a serious crime. You know what? As long as it's properly maintained, sure. It is indeed sociopathic behavior. True indeed. So where do we go from here? Ian puts up a good point. That honestly leads into point number 2. The server itself has indeed already been remade, and it is just about ready to go with a few new bells and whistles. One second here. Just a quick second. Okay, so allow me to properly correct myself with something I said earlier. I did say that I very briefly said, you know, I hadn't thought that far ahead. But, as a matter of fact, both me and Ian in the chat have actually already said it. Because... and don't mind me, I am actually going to just hide chat for a very brief moment with this. I did indeed. Yes, indeed, hon. Everything is back, new bells and whistles, and all that good stuff. There's definitely a few new roles. There's going to be more active events and organization. Okay, why is my... Jesus Christ. My phone is just... Okay, who is rapid texting me? Yeah, on my phone all of a sudden. Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry about that. My blood family chat was literally just going off haywire on my phone there, so sorry for that small delay. Anyway. Yeah, my phone was going apeshit. Sorry about that. But yeah, the server is already remade, ready to go with a few new bells and whistles. We mostly just need a tidbit more of fine-tuning on some things, and then we'll be able to start getting everybody back in. But that also... Gucci Velociraptor, trademark. But that also brings me to, well, one other little thing. Yeah. Tinta Chaos is indeed not going anywhere, and in fact, has gotten a nice little upgrade, as you can see. Behold, Tinge of Chaos Plus. This ingenious little bit of artwork was done by our very own Time Chamber. And, well, Ian also assisted with helping him get it all set up and everything like that. So, seriously, thank you freaking both for this. I am still gushing over this like, oh my gosh! So, yeah, Tinge of Chaos is now going to be called Tinge of Chaos Plus. And more or less, we're going to be, you know, moving on forward. There's going to be a lot more interesting things going on, and it's just going to be a whole lot of fun. Everybody's going to, you know, eventually come back. You know, a whole bunch of the TOC alumni will be back. And, yeah. I'm doing the funny cartoon rabbit post. Man, what's up, Doc? Also, if I may just hide chat here really quick as well. Again. You might notice there's also somebody else here. Of course, the majority of you already know Ryza sitting there all smug and, you know, everything like that. You know, he is, of course, you know, the main mascot of Tinge of Chaos, and he has, of course, made his Ring Racer debut and everything like that. But you might also notice somebody else right over here. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Enna. Enna is actually a creation of Ian's, and basically, she is Ryza's assistant and got literally shipped to him in that box. She's the one responsible for cleaning up all the tracks of all the hazards and everything like that, and that's how they all get reset and everything during our TOC sessions. And, confidentially, I heard that that box of hers is also predominantly going to be another thing. For those who enjoyed Pandora's Jackbox, she is going to be pretty much the main, well, not just one of the main attractions, but also the hostess for her. Also, yes, she lives in Nico's Smile. Don't cross her. Honestly, though, Enna is a very fun, whimsical, if not overly silly little gremlin of a woman, and I absolutely adore her. But yeah, Ian planned this out. Time Chamber was the one that drew out this entire thing, and of course, this will be Tinge of Chaos Plus's new banner as well. Is that dark matter in the box? Yes, it is. Don't ask how he got in there. Equally, though, there is one other little thing that I would like to personally show off here that I actually need to add into this really fast. One moment. Where did I put this now? Ah, yes. Here we are. This right here is the new server icon. So, Artomeister, the one who did a good majority of stuff for Ring Racers and Kart, decided that when he got back in contact with me, he originally actually wanted to make a new banner for Tinge of Chaos, but since Time Chamber kind of beat him to the punch, I instead asked him if he could make a new icon for the server. And he said, all right, I'll see what I can do. Eventually, we settled on this little design here. Ah, yes, you're right, hon. I'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, Arto here actually, you know, did the new icon for the server, and I actually really like it. But let me get that off here really quick. Oop, wrong one. Nope, it's the wrong one again. It's not a stream without some scuff, you know what I mean? But yes, actually, dark matter inside of the box is actually a reference to another thing here. I'm actually going to go ahead and get that off here. Let me get this here really quick, like. and I will show this off. Now, this was actually something back from the old server, and it's still relevant now. Let me just resize that properly here. But yeah, this was basically the logo that was made for Pandora's Jackbox. And as you can see to the left with Ian's little persona Petey right there, you know, the little potato there on the left, he's opening up the box and guess what's inside? Dark matter. Ah, my head is huge. Hun, Petey literally is just a head. But yeah, so that little, the little thing on the new TOC logo is a little reference back here to the Pandora's Jackbox logo. A head and a dump truck. Yes, you're correct. Correct. Very correct, hon. Very, very much correct. Yeah, you just never... Come to think of it, we never have seen him from behind. Censors would kill me. You don't know the name of the red hen thing from the eye? If you played Tears of the Kingdom, you know, one of the most recent Zelda games, yeah, those are gloom hands. Scary little buggers. But yeah, this was, I believe, drawn originally by a good friend of ours named Marina. I believe her name was Yoshi 700, I believe? Or something like that? Yeah, there's a lot of game references here because we reference a lot of games when we play Jackbox. Exactly. Like, you can see Garchomp there, you can see some Pokemon, you can see a little hint, bottle from Sly Cooper, you see some Jinjos, you see Kirby, you see Orbeez, I see a Teddy and Conqueror himself, one of the great fairies from Tears of the Kingdom and such. Yeah, we're all gamers, exactly. So, you know, we like referencing stuff. So, yeah, that more or less covers everything. And, yeah, pretty soon we will, you know, reopen the gates to Tinge of Chaos Plus. Like I said, we need just a smidge bit longer as of this recording, just to fine-tune a few different things. Mostly, have I ever played any of the Fallout games? I've seen a lot of them, but Ian definitely has. Ian is a really big Fallout nerd. So, yeah. But we intend to open the floodgates pretty soonish. We just need to fine-tune a few more things. You've shown me 4, New Vegas, and 3. Yeah, you still need to show me like a lot of the classic games. Like, you show me like clips and such of the classic games, but not the entirety of any of them. You started playing Fallout New Vegas recently? Nice. Huh. Well, that, I believe, sums up everything. Not sure if I actually want to continue streaming and just maybe do some, like, gaming or something like that, or if I should just cut it here and leave it be. Actually, now that I actually think about it, I do have, like, 1 or 2 other things I would like to take care of before, daylight's gone. So, I've been talking for, like, a little under an hour now? Well, I mean, I suppose I can go for maybe just a smidgen longer, so, again, if anybody just, like, has anything to ask or anything like that, you know, feel free to. Feel free to. I mean, that's what these chatting streams are for. What was used for the Discord icon? Let me show that again. Let me just show that again. that would be this right here. This is going to be the brand new Discord icon right here. This was done by Artomeister. He is a very exceptional pixel artist, and quite frankly, he just does very splendid with everything that he has done. But yes, of course, as you can clearly see with the side-by-side reference here, the icon is basically, well, Ryza's crown. We'll just minimize that over here. There we go. That should go on the box real quick. Not a bad idea. One moment. Let me just make the chat a little small here. Bing! There we go. That's cute. That's actually kind of cute. Good thinking, Senua. What was it made on? Like, what app was it made on? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I forget, like, what applications that Aro uses to draw his stuff, to be quite frank. But regardless, he did a very good job. It's a crown on the box. And once again, may I just, like, gush again really quick? Just how wonderful TC actually did with this picture here. Like, holy shit. Not only does he nail, like, Ryza's cartoonish vibe, as well as Enna's, for that matter, but he actually did, like, the whole, like, spray paint look on the side of the wall. He did that, like, brilliantly. Like, even down to, like, the little drips of paint, like going down as the paint dries and everything. That was pleased the Senua. Congrats. Like, seriously, like, Time Chamber, give yourself more credit than you say. You did an exceptional job with this. Like, I'm sure he'll see this later, but you did an exceptional job with this, and seriously, if I ever meet you IRL, buddy, remind me to give you a hug. Oh, you asked because you've been needing to make one for your Discord server. Well, I'm sure there's like, you know, plenty of, like, art applications out there that you can use, like, you know, Sprite or something like that. Of course he will. He's a chronic VOD watcher. That he is. So, it's coming up to about an hour for the video, and I think that would probably be a good spot to round it out and, you know, allow me to get up and do the things I need to do. So, I will say then, with all of that said and done, expect Tinge of Chaos Plus to be open back to, you know, the TOC alumni here within maybe the next day or two, once I get, you know, all the fine-tunings finished and everything like that. And basically, you know, things will keep going on. Like, we have plenty of events. We got movies. Of course, we have, you know, card sessions as well. Those will still be here. And, you know, we'll try to also get other things, you know, set up. Heck, you know, if things smooth out, maybe I'll finally get that TOC Minecraft server started up. That I have actually always wanted to do. So, yeah. I think that pretty much rounds things out. I do, of course, want to give off some, you know, special thanks to a lot of people. Most notably, of course, to my lover and hubby, Ian. He, you know, he's always there for me. I love him very much, and I'm so glad that he is in my life. And, you know, confidentially, pretty soon, he'll actually be physically here in my life. Wink, wink. Of course, I also want to give a shout out, of course, to all of the mods of the Tinge of Chaos server. You know, my eyes in the sky, as I always like to call them. Of course, Ian is one of them. But, of course, I will give shout-outs, of course, to Time Chamber, Admiral Stardart, Redshirt 777, also known as Mal, Time Bomb, and, oh yeah, I nearly forgot to mention. Yeah, those were the original Eyes in the Sky. We have 2 more of them now. So special shoutouts now also go to Moe and Echo. Yeah, Moe and Echo are now official Eyes in the Sky as well, because Moe has proven himself to be a very valiant sort of fella, and quite frankly, you know, quite frankly, I need a sniper in the sniper's nest. And plus, they also help majorly with the damage control. Exactly, Han. So, yeah, Moe has ascended to being an eye in the sky. Equally, Echo has also done so because, you know, we kind of need a big sister in the group, if you know what I mean. And quite frankly, I think she kind of fits the bill. She's very fun-loving, but she also knows when to call out bad things when she sees them. And, you know, I think that's honestly more of what Tinge of Chaos needs. You know, just, you know, more eyes everywhere, so that way, you know, things will, you know, keep settled and calm. At least to the point, you know, like, you know, things don't get too out of hand. I mean, we all like a little bit of chaos in our lives and everything like that. I'm paraphrasing again. Sorry. She's good at keeping observant during sessions and has proven time and again to have the community's health at heart. Okay, yeah. That's pretty much what I actually meant. That's pretty much what I actually meant there. Thank you for helping me out there, Hud. I admit I am not always the best at words. Equally, Moe can be no nonsense, but at the same time can be fair when given the circumstances. Exactly. Exactly. See, you're a lot better at words than I am. I can definitely say that. And that's why I really have to thank all of you, honestly. Like, a lot of you, you know, help me out with the parts of me that I normally have a lot of trouble with. Things that, yeah, just things I normally have a lot of trouble doing. And of course, you know, a big thanks, of course, to all of the TOC, you know, alumni and everything. You all know who you are. I originally created the Tinge of Chaos server just as a nice little place where, you know, some of us could, you know, play on cart and have some fun together, you know, in our own specific way. And over the course of years, it just grew to be a fantastic little community. One that I heavily did not expect to be so successful, but I am definitely not complaining that it is. And even though, you know, things have occurred and caused it to go to, you know, the edges of oblivion, we bounce back. We rise from the ashes, and we keep on going. After all, chaos is a primordial force, and it's a part of everyday life. You can't just get rid of it that easily. So yeah, anybody who was part of the original Tinge of Chaos server, keep an eye open on your DMs over the next few days. We will slowly but surely start getting people reintegrated back in. And then, well, as Rise always says, let's let chaos continue, shall we? It's not going anywhere, and neither am I. Alright. I seem to be starting to drop frames a little bit, so I think this would probably be a good spot to stop. Once again, thank you to everybody who came to this little chit-chat, and, you know, for those who see the VOD later on my YouTube, I hope this clears things up, and I hope, you know, it also keeps everybody, vigilant with their own cybersecurity and everything like that. So, until then, you all have a wonderful day. I care about and love you all very much. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. Stay cozy. And, summer's coming up, so stay cool as well. And once again, thank you, everyone. I'll see you all again later. Ta-ta!